You need a mic. There you go.
Hello. So I'm excited to be in Mumbai today. We recently launched in 240 countries, but this is my third trip to Mumbai in the last year, and it's a very, very exciting country, and we're excited about getting the service going here. You know, our most popular content everywhere is our original series. We have Indian movies, American series, kids shows, but the original series get watched most wherever we are. So that includes Top Gear and Man in the High Castle and shows like that. And you know, we've had some success in the US with Amazon Studios with these shows. We've won the Golden Globe 2 years in a row for Best Comedy. We won Best Actor at the Golden Globe for 3 years in a row. We recently won 3 Academy Awards for Best Screenplay, Best Actor, and Best Foreign Film for The Salesman. And so we want to bring, you know, a similar exciting tradition here to our efforts in India and serve Indian customers. And I think that some keys to that are, you know, India has such a rich storytelling tradition, and I think the most important thing we can do is empower great Indian artists to tell Indian stories that have universal resonance. And that aligns with our general theme of the key to success is to basically get great artists who are super talented and at the top of their game and want to do something exciting and empower them to do that, and then find big stories that really have the excitement and size of film, but sort of the story scope of television. So we call it Filmavision, and it's kind of a new and fun thing. And I think the project we're talking about today, The Forgotten Army with Kabir Khan, who I'm about to introduce, it perfectly epitomizes what we're trying to do. So we're really looking forward to the very ambitious project that we'll shoot from here to Singapore, and so I hope everyone looks forward to it. So now let me introduce Kabir Khan. You brought your own mic.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Roy, for the introduction. Hi. Good afternoon. Great to see you here, and I'm really excited to talk about what this new project is all about. It's going to be an Amazon original. It's something new that I'm trying in terms of the platform. You know, you've known me as a filmmaker doing Bollywood films that release theatrically, but now I'm doing this big show with Amazon as an Amazon original. Just to give you a brief backdrop to what this show is, as most of you know, I've been a documentary filmmaker, and you know, till now derive a lot of my raw material for my films from my documentary experiences. So one of the first documentaries that I did was a documentary called The Forgotten Army, which was, in a certain sense, it became my calling card. It was the first documentary that got me acclaim, and you know, people started reaching out to me for work connected with that documentary. And this was something that I shot in 1996, and it is essentially the story of the Azad Hind Fauj, as we know it, the Indian National Army, which was formed in Singapore. We've all read about this in bits and pieces in our history books. There's not much of it. But what I did was I went and tracked down 2 veterans of this army, 2 soldiers who were part of this army, Captain Lakshmi Sehgal, who was the commander of the women's infantry unit in this army called the Rani Jhansi Regiment, and Colonel Gurbakh Singh Dhillon, who was also famous for one of the 3 being tried at the Red Fort trials. They were 86, and I went up to them and I said, you know, we really don't know anything about this army and what happened in those years from 1942 to 1945 in World War II. Would you come back with me and retrace this journey? They thought I'm cuckoo there. They thought I'm mad, because at 86 to take them back on this journey, which was going to be, you know, we were traveling on the road for 3 months. But such was their passion and such was their desire to actually tell this story that they came with me, and we embarked on this journey, which took us from Singapore through Malaysia, Thailand, and Burma, all the way back to the borders of India. And this was exactly the route that the Azad Hind Fauj had taken on 55 years ago from when I filmed during World War II. And ever since I did that documentary, there was so much that I experienced behind the camera. There was so much that I saw, which was much more than what went into the documentary, that I always wanted to make a big feature about this subject. So honestly, today when I say that, this is a story that made me want to become a filmmaker. This is a story that I thought, this is the one story I have to tell. After every film, I must be honest, I used to bring out the idea of Forgotten Army, and I used to, I used to keep writing the screenplay and notes on it. I said, I want to do this, I want to do this. Somehow, 6 films down, I still haven't done it. And then, as they say, sometimes things happen for the better. And now when I'm undertaking this journey and making the Forgotten Army actually into a series, a mini-series, I think it lends itself much better to this platform. And that's what I'm really excited about, because Amazon is actually giving me a platform which is allowing me to make it with much greater scale, much greater reach in terms of audience, and really be true to the spirit of this, this amazing story. Because somewhere down the line, we do a certain Bollywoodization of our stories. There are certain parameters within which we need to operate when we're telling certain stories, and that sometimes takes away from the spirit of the story. And suddenly I got this platform where, for me, it's really a liberating experience to be able to tell a story exactly the way you want to narrate it. I mean, if a Japanese soldier is speaking in Japanese, so be it. I don't need to think of a tool. How do I make this Japanese guy speak Hindi? Kuch to hoga, maa hogi India se. Something you have to keep doing. And we've seen some recent films which have been destroyed by that tool, where we're making characters speak Hindi, because otherwise, how do you release it? And so it's just, as a filmmaker, I must say that it's been a great experience in scripting this. I'm still scripting it, and being able to narrate the story the way I really wanted to. So I think we should open it up to questions, and and from there we'll take on whatever you want to know about this subject. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah.
So anybody?
Any questions?
A documentary on a big screen. Ever did you thought about it?
I already have made this documentary. So this comes from my documentary called The Forgotten Army. So because of what I did in the documentary, the story comes from there. And I developed it into a screenplay.
Any more questions?
Yes?
Yeah, questions for Roy Price. When you started creating original content 3 years ago, was there a lot of skepticism from top talent? Because before that, Amazon was mainly known as an e-commerce company. So at that time, was there a lot of skepticism? And how would you say OTT players are disrupting the traditional studio model of production, finance, and also content creation?
Well, originally, a few years ago, we did sort of have to go around and explain to people what we were doing, what the goal was, what the standards would be. But we had already earned a reputation for reliability by delivering everybody's packages on time. So I think that started us off with a good level of credibility. So there was definitely that period where you had to go around and talk to agents and managers and talent and explain, what we're trying to do. We're trying to do great work that people are really going to remember, that's going to stand the test of time, that's going to be the best in the industry. And I think that was the important message to communicate, so people could understand, what we're trying to accomplish and what kind of project they might think of when they think of Amazon. So these days, we don't have to explain it too much, because I think most, people are aware, but that was definitely part of the task in the beginning.